Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Ask Lukenessmonster, episode 54 of the series on the channel, where I answer your guys' questions from the comments down below. So if you guys do want your questions answered in next week's video, comment down below on this week's video, and I'll try my very best to answer it. If you're new to the channel, we're actually doing a giveaway. Once we hit 5,000 subs, we're going to be giving away this ARC Trooper Echo. It is sealed and ready to ship once we hit 5,000 subs. And speaking of subscribers, we're actually like less than 50 subs away from 3,500 subs right now, so we're so close to that goal of 3,500. So if you aren't subbed to the channel yet, you're a regular watcher or you're brand new, hit that subscribe button. Let's get up to 3,500 subs by the end of the day, today or tomorrow, doesn't matter, whenever you're watching this. Yeah, it just means a lot to me, and it helps out the channel a ton. So, on to the first question. The first question says, do you think they will release a Commander Oppo Black Series figure because he's been in the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith, and we've never seen a figure of him? So, good question, and I think one of the reasons why we haven't seen a figure of him is because in Revenge of the Sith, he is just a normal 501st clone trooper, and he doesn't actually get a special design for his armor until the Clone Wars TV show, and his design is pretty similar to the 501st trooper, so that's why I think we haven't got him yet. He's so similar that, you know, it's not a ton of variation. While I still would love to get him, and I think they probably will release him in the future. It might be a few years from now, but I think eventually, once they've, like, you know, ran out of other characters to make, they will make an Oppo eventually. But like I said, it might just be a matter of time. Next question from Philbo. He asks, do you think we will ever get a re-release of the Scout Trooper with speeder bike, maybe even the Mandalorian one? So I believe the Mandalorian one did go back in stock a little while ago, might have been a few weeks, but you know, it tends to go in and out of stock every once in a while. But for the you know, just a plain brown speeder bike with the normal Scout on it from like Return of the Jedi, that one I think we will get a re-release of in 2023, and that's because that is actually the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, and you know, the speeder bike being mainly a Return of the Jedi vehicle, I think it'd be a no-brainer for them to do a re-release of that, and honestly, I'd be very, very surprised if they don't. So yeah, I'd say if you're waiting to get that speeder bike, don't pay the high prices on the aftermarket. Wait to 2023, and I'm sure we will get a re-release of it. Next question from Ian. He says, I find the plastic on some of the newer figures looks different from previous. For instance, do you find that the plastic on the Echo mold looks different from other clones like Rex and the older molds? I have the Mandalorian Incinerator Trooper, and I find that the plastic looks a lot different from my older Stormtrooper molds, so I find they don't look great side by side. Any thoughts on the different plastics? I've 100% noticed that. I do have both Rex and Echo here in front of you, and I think that's mainly because Echo is on that newer clone mold, where Rex is on the older one, and I think you can definitely see it whenever you compare them side by side. And it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but Rex is a more like glossier finish to the plastic, where Echo is more of a matte finish, and I think this just has to do with like the new versus the old mold, because Hawk here is on the old Rex mold, and he has a more glossier finish than Echo, and even Rex has a different finish than the original Clone Trooper mold, which is also kind of a mix between the two, but the old Clone Trooper mold tends to lean towards the matte side rather than the gloss side, and I think it's just your preference. I think they look alright together, and honestly, I have definitely noticed it though. And but yeah. Another thing I have noticed with it is that the newer mold seems to just feel like in hand like a softer plastic, where the Captain Rex mold and the older molds feel like a harder, more firm plastic, I guess you could say. So I got a ton of questions this week about a Republic Commando mold, or a Clone Commando mold, or a Scorch mold, or Delta Squad, all those mixed together, and I'm just gonna kind of answer all those questions in this one. And so the next question is from JD Pragmatic, and he says, now that Hasbro has the Republic Commando armor mold from the Bad Batch Hunter mold, and with the game being released on the PlayStation back in April, do you think that it would be a great time to make all of Delta Squad in the Black Series? So I think 100% they should have made it a long time ago, but yeah, I think it's a great time to do it. I think that Hunter Bad Batch mold is perfect if you didn't know, I made my own boss custom using that mold from Republic Commando, and it's pretty much identical to what you see in the Clone Wars. Obviously, it's not the same as the actual game in Republic Commando. It is very similar to the Clone Wars mold, so we could get Clone Wars style versions of the outfits rather than the realistic armor, but honestly, I think it still works out very, very well. But I think that our chances of getting any form of Commando just like quadrupled after this latest episode of Bad Batch. And I guess spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but there are clone commandos in it, plain white ones, and also Scorch from Delta Squad, which is just freaking awesome. But I think the plain white commando and Scorch both just like their chances of getting made just got like quadrupled. I think for both of them we could see the commando in either the Bad Batch armor or the Gaming Greats armor, just the plain white one, as he is also in Battlefront 2. But I think Scorch, like I said, could be in the Bad Batch armor for his recent, Bad Batch packaging. I don't know why I just said armor, but packaging, because, of course he was in the latest episode of Bad Batch, but he could also be in the Gaming Greats packaging, because, of course, he is from the video game Republic Commando. So, I think it just, it is what it is. However they release him, I'm going to be happy. And I just hope they decide to do it now, because I think the whole popularity and demand of the figures just like quadrupled in the last week. So I really hope they consider it. The next question says, do you think we will ever get a clone Airborne trooper, considering that they haven't done it yet, and the Jedi Fallen Order the Purge Trooper mold is the exact same sculpt? Also, will you be picking up the Walgreens 212th Clone Trooper exclusive figure? So I think that the 212th Airborne is a must for the Black Series, and it's kind of like, it just surprises me that they haven't made it yet, considering that the Purge Trooper mold is exactly the same. All they'd have to do is repaint it, and yeah, it just blows my mind that they haven't made it yet, but I think that 100% it's going to happen in the next 3 years. I think maybe like 2025 is the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, so I think at the very, very latest 2025 is when we could get it. But I think, since they have that mold already, I think we could see it in the somewhat near future. I do plan on picking up that Walmart 212th Trooper. Unfortunately, it's not going up for pre-order. It is just going to show up in stores. So I'm going to have to hunt it down and find it in stores, but I do plan on getting as many of them as I can find. Next question from Sir. He asks, what would be your dream con exclusive and what accessory? So you know that I'm an absolute massive Fives fan, and while I would not want him to be a con exclusive, I would still love to see this figure, and that would be a Fives in some kind of really cool exclusive packaging, kind of like the SDCC Rex. But he does have, of course, his ARC Trooper armor, but he also does have the Phase 1 ARC Trooper helmet and then the Phase 2 helmet as well, which would just be amazing to go with him. But you got to throw in a bunch of accessories. You got to give him the removable the removable helmet with the face sculpt underneath. You got to give him some, thermal detonators, maybe a backpack, a minigun, tons of different weapons. There's a ton you could do with it, but I think it would just be a great exclusive pack. Back says, what character do you want next in the Bad Batch line that hasn't been confirmed / announced already? I would have said Echo, but Echo has been confirmed for a late 2021 release. So I can't say Echo, I guess. So I guess my next one would have to be Scorch, because Scorch is freaking awesome. And obviously, I find it hard to believe that they would do Scorch this soon after it, but I really, really hope we get him, because I'm a huge Republic Commando fan. Simply Star Wars asks, do you think that Build-A-Figure similar to Marvel Legends could be introduced to some Black Series waves? Some first ideas would be like a Super Battle Droid, or like the Rancor Keeper, or more bulkier guys. Would you personally like to see this? So, yes and no. I love the idea of Build-A-Figures. I just don't think it would work very well in the Black Series, and that's because Marvel Legends, that actually does Build-A-Figures, are so much just better stocked than the Black Series. And I think you're going to have a whole lot, just a terrible time trying to collect the entire wave to build that Build-A-Figure in the Black Series, where in the Marvel Legends, it's going to be a lot easier to build that, where, like Black Series, you might find one case per store, and obviously a few of those figures are going to be missing. So I think it'd definitely be harder to do it, but I would love to see it. And then the last question from Soda, he asks, since Star Wars is going to have a few anniversary lines coming up, 2022 for Attack of the Clones, 2023 for Return of the Jedi, and 2025 for Revenge of the Sith, what one new figure from each movie would you like to see Hasbro release? For Attack of the Clones, I'd love to see a super battle droid. That would just be freaking amazing. For Return of the Jedi, I'd like to see Ula or the Rancor Keeper because, we just need some more of those background Jabba Palace people to fill in some space. And then for 2025, for Return of the Jedi, I'm sorry, Revenge of the Sith. I always mess up the titles. For Revenge of the Sith, I'd probably like to see a Magna Guard the most because Magna Guards are just freaking awesome. Hey guys, that is going to do it for the video. If you did enjoy, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you guys didn't get your questions answered in this week's video, always try re-commenting it in next week's video. It's not because I didn't want to answer your question, but it's just because we didn't have enough time to in this video. So if you do think you have a really good question, feel free to re-comment it again in next week's video. And I'll see you guys in the next one.